Hey everybody, welcome back to a virtual con. Just doing a quick sound check here, making sure that everyone can hear us. Can you all hear us?
I'm good here.
I'm talking about our audience. I know you can hear me, Chris.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm just checking to make sure our audience today in the Megabyte Theater can hear us as we're just getting started. Great. Jimmy, thank you so much. Jimmy has confirmed that he can hear us. Welcome everybody again to our 4 p.m. presentation here. Legacy Inspired Films presents Film 3. Very excited about this particular presentation. Film 3, definitely near and dear to my heart. And we're going to get underway really shortly. I want to show you something very quickly. But before we begin, I'm going to introduce who we have here on our panel. We are blessed to have here today on our stage Christopher Montgomery Bender, Jimmy Flint Smith, and Andrew Granillo, who have graced us with our presence today and who are members of Legacy Inspired Films. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having all of us today, and I'm greatly happy to be here.
Glad to have you. But before we begin, I know you want to show us a little something, so I'm going to ask Kendrick, who's been amazing all day and working super hard. Kendrick, roll.
The world is changing, and life is changing with it. At Legacy Inspired Films, we believe in the values of the Film 3 world. We believe in freedom of expression, but most of all, we believe in bringing people together through the power of storytelling. As the first crypto-funded studio ever, the inclusion of a membership token allows us to bridge the gap between production and audiences. Our NFT experiences allow members to witness filmmaking firsthand. Our tiered memberships provide exclusive access to the storytelling process. And by pre-funding all of our projects ourselves, we stay above agendas, corporate influences, and the politics of the studio system. Let's be honest, we all want our heroes to win. And in today's world, we also want to be involved, to meet them, to get their autographs, and to know what's coming next. LῙF as a studio has found many new ways of giving our
Guys, hang on. Small technical difficulty. We're going to restart it. And for those of you that are having a lot of difficulty watching in a world, because, that's what happens. I'm also going to throw the YouTube link of the video into chat for those of you who want to watch it sort of outside, externally in another browser. But we're going to play it again and give it another shot. So go for it, Kendrick.
The world is changing, and life is changing with it. At Legacy Inspired Films, we believe in the values of the Film 3 world. We believe in freedom of expression, but most of all, we believe in bringing people together through the power of storytelling. As the first crypto-funded studio ever, the inclusion of a membership token allows us to bridge the gap between production and audiences. Our NFT experiences allow members to witness filmmaking firsthand. Our tiered memberships provide exclusive access to the storytelling process. And by pre-funding all of our projects ourselves, we stay above agendas, corporate influences, and the politics of the studio system. Let's be honest, we all want our heroes to win. And in today's world, we also want to be involved, to meet them, to get their autographs, and to know what's coming next. LῙF as a studio has found many new ways of giving our audiences the interactive experiences they're looking for. So, how are we going to do all of that? First, we have a team of highly accredited and experienced industry professionals that really know what they're doing. Second, we are collaborating with name brands and talent that everybody knows. And trust me, they are as excited about this as we are. Third, we got the LῙF token, allocated to our various supporters, but also freely accessible to everybody who has always wanted to take a look behind the scenes. Which leads me to my last and most important point. We have a slate of stories ready to be told for the joy and entertainment of everybody. If you want to learn more and become a part, please reach out. We're looking forward to meeting you. Until then, I'll leave you with one last note. 2023 saw the Emmy Academy add a brand new category honoring blockchain and Film 3. Just imagine how incredible it would be for you to participate in making legacy-inspired films among those first honorees. The world is changing.
Chris, exciting video. I love that. I love that. Personally, Film 3 is definitely something that is near and dear to me. Being involved in film myself, being involved in film tech. Welcome to Virtual Con. Welcome to the Otherverse family. So excited to have you guys here. Please tell us all about LῙF. Tell us about everything. We're so excited to have you guys.
Wow, what an opening. Well, thank you. Jimmy and I and Andrew could not be, and Brian and all of us here could not be more excited to be a part of this. Many of our team are watching also online as we speak right now, and so is many of our supporters out there. So a big shout out to everyone out there for this. We are super excited. It's been a real challenging time in entertainment. We've gone to so many drops to where there's nothing new coming out, where we're just not getting any content, and what we are getting, we're not enjoying. We're not getting a choice in it. And we put together this great team of people who kind of saw that need, and now we're out there to fill it. And to actually bring back the idea of escapism, the idea of storytelling, the idea of just being able to have your family together to watch something and enjoy it and not worry about anything else, what you're getting for entertainment. We're super excited about this.
So let's bring it back a little bit here, and let me ask sort of the most basic question here. What is Film 3 for everybody in the audience who's wondering what Film 3 is? What is it?
Well, Film 3 is really, it's emerging. And that's what's going to be so great about this. This is going to be true user interactions with the entertainment from start to finish at every level of it, from everything that goes on behind the scenes to what's viewed, to being able to access it in different ways, to be able to access it in places like here in the Otherverse. It's going to be able to be a completely new experience at every single level of what film is going to put out. It's going to have the AI, it's going to have the VR, it's going to have story aspects, it's going to have direct fan interactions, it's going to let people be involved in everything. It's going to be fantastic.
Okay, that part is what really, really excites me, and I'm sure everybody in the audience can feel that excitement about the interaction part. Can you speak a little bit more to that, about how fans can get involved in that. And I'd love to hear more about that part.
For years, we have seen traditional Web 2.0 crowdfunding exist to where we've been able to get a t-shirt and be able to get our name in the credits and get that kind of thing. And, I've held an agency license for over 10 years in Hollywood and worked in some of the largest films out there. And I've worked on some crowdfund things out there, and people have always been excited to just get their name out there. And now they're going to be able to have the experiences to go and learn and train with some of our stunt teams that we work with, who have been part of every blockbuster of the last 3 to 5 years that you have seen, from fighting to driving to flying through the air to swimming under the water, to a whole variety of that. Some of our stunt teams are going to come in, and you're going to be able to have access to some of those people and learn what it's like to work with those stunt guys and girls out there that are just doing some amazing work, and realize how safe it is and how exhilarating that work is. It's going to allow people who have dreams of being script writers to be able to be directly involved in getting stories pitched and ideas, concepts that Hollywood abandoned 20 years ago that allowed people to be involved. We're going to bring that back to all of this. We're going to allow people who have a dream of working anywhere in film to have an ability to have access to realize that dream in such a new way.
So I definitely understand, myself having a strong background in film, I understand how this is going to completely revolutionize the entire industry. For those of us in the audience who maybe don't quite understand that, how can you explain how that's going to change? So let's take it back and sort of maybe explain a little bit about what's currently happening for those that don't know, and how that this is going to completely change and affect. And then let's go into how, and I might be, if I'm throwing too much at you, please slow me down, because I'm extremely excited about this, as you can probably tell. And then how that's going to incorporate with everything here with us in Otherverse and the metaverse, and sort of where we're going to take that.
Well, okay, let's take writers, for example. We just saw the writers on over 100-day strike in Hollywood here. I've been a licensed agent for more than 10 years here in Hollywood. And for my entire career, anyone off the public who had some great story ideas had zero ability on their own to submit that material to a studio and have it looked at. They had to go find a licensed agent. They had to go find someone who'd be willing to believe in it for them and pitch that and take it out there for them. And we're going to go back to a program that existed with one of the major studios from the 1990s predominantly, where they allowed for one specific franchise anyone to submit up to 3 scripts a year. And of that, they had over 6,000 submissions in about a 10-year period. Of that, 12 of those scripts got made for one specific franchise. 6 of those people are now showrunners today, and they had zero representation coming in. They had zero background. They were people who loved the franchise, who knew how to write, who thought they knew how to write, who put something together, and they actually made content that spoke specifically to a very diehard group of fans, and all of a sudden it got made. And that was one key aspect. When we looked at that, and we said, we can bring that back. That program hasn't existed since 2001 with any studio in Hollywood. And we can bring that back today, and we can get people involved without all of the red tape that's going on. We have seen right now for over, I think it was over 110 days, the writers were on strike. We're on day 112 with the actors on strike right now. There's nothing out there right now for anybody, for anything new is dried up and not coming out anytime soon.
And I don't think people understand sort of sorry to interrupt you, Chris, the long-term implications of that. So for like you and myself who are in the industry, we understand that. We understand that come next year, there's not going to be any new movies, that you're going to start to see that. But right now, what that means for everybody in the audience who may not understand is movies are not being made right now.
Movies have not been made since May.
Since May, exactly.
May.
Or television shows. There's been a few exceptions, but
very few exceptions. There's a couple things that are coming out here and there, but this is why your TV season here in America did not start in September this year. And right now, we are seeing nothing new. And for every 1 month that entertainment is down in creation, it takes 2 months to recover. We saw some of this through the 2020 pandemic of when everything was closed for about 4 months. We have now doubled that and how long things have not been created.
Correct.
And so the largest studio in the world has already said that their 2026 slate of films is gone. They're already rearranging their entire thing for 2026 right now because they won't be able to meet those deadlines. So we can come in right now as a studio creating television content, which is our first goal, getting out episodes very similar to streaming sites because we're working outside of the studio system. We're not a part of the strikes. We're not held up by any of that in the contracts.
And why is that? Why is that?
Because number one, us releasing over into the metaverse here, into the other verse and all these places is not covered under the contracts.
Nice.
Number two, we are not a part of the AMPTP, who is holding up the actors right today at this very hour. 10 minutes before we came on this interview, I was getting an update from Hollywood, and the Producers Guild has said they may have an offer before end of day today, back to the actors. They've also said that if the actors don't accept the deal, they're going to stop negotiating potentially all the way until January now.
Correct.
And so we are going to be exempt from all that, and we can actually reach out. We have put together a list of talent, and Anna, behind the scenes, you've seen some of who that is.
Yep.
And that's a pretty exciting list that's out there right now. That's some Oscar winners, and that's some Emmy winners, and that is some people who we all know, and they are ready to go to work, and they want to get back to work. And they can go back to work today with us and getting content shot that we can put here into Otherverse within the next couple of months, and then eventually release it out to traditional media after the fact, that everyone here can see that first, because that's our drive, is to put it here, because this is where the future is for entertainment.
100%, 100%. We have some questions that are coming in. I mean, one of them is what your organization does. And I think there is some confusion, like I said, because, you know, you and I, we come from a similar background, so we kind of speak the same language. If you can just define it in the simplest terms, Chris, what does LῙF do? What does LῙF do in the simplest way?
We are a television production company who will be releasing content at what would be considered traditional TV in episodic format, 6 to 9 to 12 episode long content, 3-season content that is going to be created, that's going to have fan involvement and enthusiast involvement through, first of all, the LῙF token. The LῙF token is going to be people's entry into our community and into our world, to where we can get people's involvement and judge what they want to see. We want to go back to creating content that is safe for families, that you can watch at home together and not cringe over and believe that something's being pushed down your throat that you don't believe in over. We're going to create that kind of content again. And we're going to do that, first of all, through our membership, through our LῙF token. It is a utility token that is actively right now going out with our VC groups and our angel groups out there right now. And that's going to be the entry point for people to have a say and an input with us. From there, we are launching a set of really first of its kind NFT experiences. And this is, Anna, I think, what we're the most absolutely excited about above everything else. This is where people are going to be able to get behind the scenes and be involved. There are people, and Anna, every time you and I are together in person and online, we've talked about this, that there are so many people around the country and around the world who just wish they knew how to enter the world that you and I live in, that is entertainment and creating content. I was at the award seasons at the start of the year. Pouring rain coming down. And yes. Jimmy and I were walking the red carpet at one awards show with an Oscar nominee for that season. And we had all these fans standing at the window with their faces pushed up against the window, drenched in rain, begging to find a way to get in where we were. The literal glass ceiling, in this case, the glass wall, keeping them from us. And as we went out after the event that night, they're like, how did you get in there? How were you a part of this? What do I have to do to be there? And you know what? We want to open some of those doors, and we want to do that through NFT experiences by letting people have access to that. There's people right now somewhere around the world right now who just have this dream of creating costumes and wardrobe for characters. And they don't know how to start, and they don't know how to begin to get an input of that. And we can allow that through some of these experiences. There are people who right now are incredible writers, and they can't figure out how to break into the Hollywood system. And we can allow that kind of access. There are people who just want to do a background role and who just want to walk on a set and say that they were there. There are people who their only dream is to go attend a red carpet and get dressed up in a fancy dress and a fancy tux and be there. That we do, that quite honestly, my team and I got to admit, we've gotten to where we take it for granted. We do it so often, but we want to be able to let people experience that magic of what we do and be a part of it and be able to build a career. Why should there be these glass ceilings that keep people out? Why should we be using indoctrination ideas that only serve small communities and push it on everybody? And we can remove that right now. And that's how we're going to go create content. And that's how we're going to do the token and the NFTs. I'm super excited, Anna.
I'm so jazzed about it. I mean, I always kind of think about, the story of Kevin Feige, who's like the head of Marvel. He was in the right place, right time. He knew comic books. He was there when somebody turned around and was like, who knows about X-Men, And now look at him, right? So, this is an amazing opportunity for people, especially like in our community, who I know are amazing designers, amazing storytellers. I mean, this is what you guys do all day long, right? I've seen some of the things that you create digitally. Just imagine what is possible. And I love that that's what LῙF is doing. That's just fantastic. It makes me really excited that this. Yeah. And I got to mention, so in the video, this is what I have to bring this up. And you were talking about the award season. I remember being drenched during Critics' Choice, but it rained so hard that day. But you mentioned as well the blockchain category at the Emmys. Talk more about that. That's really exciting.
Emmys are in September, and they're kind of the pre-season of what we call award season. Of course, it didn't happen this year because of the ongoing strikes, and they realize that this is the emerging area of technology. This is the emerging outlet. Anna, you and I talked even very recently about the fact that 10, 20 years ago, you and I were the TV remote. We were the ones who had to get up when our parents told us to go change the channel. We were the ones who had to go fix the bunny ears on the TV.
Now you're telling everybody how old I am, Chris.
No, because
I'm kidding.
We remember those times. And then it went to, we knew the neighbor down the street had cable and satellite. And we went over there and saw it if we didn't have it ourselves. And that became the predominant TV. And then less than 10 years ago, it became streamers. And we all sit at home and we stream and chill to get our content. And now the next emergence is going to be on this blockchain where it's open to everybody. And it's going to be so much more accessible even than what it is now in a new way. And people can hone in on it. One of the big things I miss, and I'm super excited about from this also, I guess I'm super excited about all of it, Anna. You got me really going today. Was I love DVDs, and I love being able to buy the DVD, and I love to be able to pull it in and watch all of the deleted scenes and the commentaries and figure out how something was made and see why it was left out, et cetera, et cetera. And come December, Best Buy here in the United States and Canada will no longer sell DVDs after Christmas.
Oh, no. That breaks my heart.
It's gone. And so all we can do is go to our streamers and we don't get any of those extras anymore. Well, one of the things my team and I figured out, really with the help of some of our advisory board members, even very recently, was we're going to put that content back into people's wallets, the content we don't air, to our members, to our NFT holders. So you're going to have that behind the scenes. You're going to have that access, and it's going to be in your wallet online. And that FOMO aspect is going to be right back there for you in a whole new way that you're going to be able to access it. Not going to have to go buy the DVD that doesn't exist anymore. I remember one great filmmaker who used to do something called 10-minute film schools on the end of VHS tapes and the end of DVDs. And he'd teach people how to make things. We're going to go back to that because so many people want to be able to make something. Everybody loves storytelling. Outside of this, Anna, I have been so blessed to sponsor 110 people from around the world who come into the United States to work in entertainment. And I'm their sponsor here, and it's universal. I've sponsored someone from every continent on Earth other than Antarctica. And the one universal thing is everyone loves stories. Everyone has a story to tell. Let's go to it. Agreed.
Someone just mentioned in the comments, it's amazing. Vinyl is stocked on the shelves, but hardly any CDs or DVDs. That is incredibly true. And that speaks to the fact that people have this nostalgic thing. Let's bring back some of the old.
when that writers program ended at one specific studio, they ended that program in 2001. The world isn't even the same as when they ended that program.
And what's interesting is like that wasn't that long ago, if you think about it, in this sort of grand scheme of things, how technology has advanced so quickly and how fast things are. Someone just wrote, "Oh, you sponsored Santa Claus." I'm sorry, I had to say that. I've got. He hasn't sponsored Santa Claus. Antarctica, or isn't that where Santa's from?
No. Antarctica is from Antarctica is
North
Penguin.
Pole.
Santa Claus is North Pole. So I will not comment on the relationship with elves and Santa at this time because it would just be. There's just certain things that are under confidentiality. You got to have the NFT tokens and you have the NFTs and tokens for me to be able to answer that question for you.
Oh my God, Chris! Oh, awesome. All right,
we'll put the background of that in somebody's wallet also in the extras footage. I'll put that out there.
I love it. You bet I would subscribe to that for sure, and I'm sure a lot of our members here would too. I gotta ask you: is there anything that you can tell us? Any projects, anything that you guys have in development that you might be able to talk about?
There are a few things. just this week, I sat down with an Emmy winner and former soap star, an Emmy winner on television, both daytime and nighttime. He's got a lot of stuff out there. He's coming on board with us on a couple of projects. Super excited about his stuff over there. We have a stunt team who's got several projects that are action-based out of Texas that are going to be coming on board with us very quickly. Super excited about that. I showed in that video you ran so graciously for me at the start of this. We put a couple up there. There's Godlike Gaming. That project is solely for gamers and people in the gaming world that speaks to this community.
100%.
And so I'm excited about that. And that's a comedy piece. The other big comedy piece we have is called NFTs, NFTEASE. And I think this is probably the one you got the most excited about. This one, I think, when we talked about this.
Probably. I get excited about all of it, honestly.
This is taking a bunch of coders and people who are working in blockchain and in technology, and they're trying to make a living. They just can't. And, they have a certain demographic and appearance that they all meet. And they hook up and work with a bunch of content creators who are having a hard time getting their content seen, but they have all the right looks. And so it's very much in the vein of a Big Bang Theory kind of story. And it's going to run at minimum 3 seasons. We've got a great group of people behind that one already. Super excited about that. We have a couple of action-based superhero type shows booked in there as well. I could go for an hour with you on the content alone of what's already lined up.
You know what? That is extremely exciting to me. And I've seen some of it, and it is wonderful, Chris. And,
Thank you.
Yeah.
We are excited. I got to tell you, I think the biggest thing since you and I last spoke about all this that I'm super excited about is this dropping stuff to wallets, this deleted scenes and this extra content going to wallets. And that really changed the game for us on so many levels because it answered the big question. The big thing in everybody who's in this space is how do we solve problems? And well, my heart sank when I read Best Buy will not sell DVDs anymore. Yeah. And there's a big problem because I'm not the only guy out there who likes deleted scenes.
No, and you're not. You're not.
We solved that. We're going to have that content. We're going to have it to you in such a much more personal way. And we've solved that problem too. And that's what I'm so excited about all of this every day.
I love that. And I know for a fact that our members are actually in our age bracket, Chris. So I know that they can relate and I know that they love that. And I'm also seeing in the chat, superheroes perking up. Yep, superheroes. So when they heard that, there's a little bit of a delay in the chat. They are definitely excited. I'm also personally invested into that whole comic book superhero thing. So I too am very excited about that. Someone just said, time for Blockbuster to make a comeback. Yeah, 110%. We love that nostalgia there. So this is nostalgia meets tech.
That's it exactly. When you bring up when the comment came up about vinyl is there, but CDs aren't.
Right.
What that really tells me is there's a hunger for yesterday. There's a hunger for what was easier. There's a hunger for when we could get around the TV, we could go to the movie, and we could watch something and not have to worry about what the content was.
Right.
And we're hungering for that. And that goes back to that time when vinyl was king. And so we can do that again.
Right. There definitely is something to be said about that. And also that nostalgia of that familiarity of, the things that your parents liked. Because you always kind of think about that, It's funny enough, when I was visiting my nephew in San Diego last week. Mm-hmm. And he's heavy into the vinyl. This is my younger nephew. He's in his 20s now. And just listening to him listen to these old records. And he's like, oh, I've got this Pulp Fiction soundtrack. And I'm just listening to him going, oh my gosh. I remember when I heard that the first time it came out, and just, his watching him discover that for the first time or, for his first time. And just thinking like how exciting it is that this is coming out now and that there's new generations and us that they'll be able to experience this now in a new way.
And you speak to that right there. And it's just like when you're talking about that yesterday stuff of that, I just wrapped up and got somebody into the United States from Central and South America, who is a composer. And the whole music genre that they work in is in that 80s vibed feeling of stuff, and how much of that resurgence is out there, and they want that because that's what you listen to with your parents. It's all of what you're saying, and we can do that together right here.
Right. A question just came into the chat here. How much do you intend to invest in content? Very interesting question.
We're looking at content. We are right now, our first aspect is we have a lot of content that we've already acquired first up, that we've pulled on, that we've looked at, and we're going to continue to. We're always open to other content. We're always looking, and if something has a better value than what's out there right now that we're already planning, that's the beautiful thing about this studio. We're not locked in. When you look at what's coming right now, there's an article out today from a major studio who has a lead talent who's locked into projects for the next 6 years with them, who's in a little bit of trouble right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got some court cases going on right now. And the studio just came back from their retreat, and they said they're looking for a way to remove this talent, but they're too locked into him for the next several years. And so they don't know how to bob and weave and change. We're going to be able to do that. If we're seeing, hey, what ideas we have on the table today are just not going to work tomorrow, we can look at that, and we're open to that. And that's what the token's going to allow. That's why the governance is going to be there. That's why the NFT levels are going to be there. We can look at those things, and we can keep that open always.
Right. Another comment in the chat here. People have been so comfortable with the digital world as music video. We enjoy having a tangible product now. And I think one of the nice things with what you're doing is not only are we in the digital world, but it's also a tangible product at the exact same time. I think that's a really cool thing that's happening here.
They don't even realize the part that they just hit on for us. We have something called Life boxes that are coming online, Life and Legacy boxes coming online.
Okay, what is that?
Okay, we all love, how many gift boxes and subscription boxes do we all belong to these days?
I'm ashamed to admit it.
I don't think there's one of us anywhere that isn't getting at least one box a month, maybe more.
Right.
What about the props? What about the giveaways? What about the stuff we're done with? What if that was going out? We have one of the most amazing prop houses in Hollywood. He's right in Burbank, who's on our team. His face was on the screen over there on what we showed today. And he has created work all the way back to the 70s. And Anna, next time you're here, we talked about taking you over to his shop, and we're doing it.
I'm holding you to it. I'm so stoked about that.
And what if we turned around, and when we're done with things, what if these collectibles went out to the fans and the token holders and the NFT holders? And we're going to do this on a tier level based on tiers. Everybody's going to participate based on the tiers. The percentage of how many of each tier are going to be able to get those within it. But we're going to give out those things because it is bringing that back. One of our team members calls it a phygital world, a mixture of that physical and digital world, where we're going to be able to have something in your hand at the end of the day from this.
I love that. You know what? I'm looking over to my left right now, and I am a very secretive, not so secretive anymore, comic book nerd. And I have figurines of certain superheroes, and I'm looking at them right now, and I'm just thinking to myself, how cool is that? How cool is that? That not only could you be a part of that, learn stuff, get the film, but also get, a collectible from it. I just think that's incredible.
What if all of a sudden you're in a tier level, because everybody will be in one with the token, okay? Mm-hmm. And by your tier level, and with our token holders, we can talk about this at length. And all of a sudden, your lottery came up. The lower levels have a lottery. The extreme high levels, everybody's going to get something.
Okay, I love that even more. Okay,
wow. So we're going to drive. We want people engaged. So it's very much like your frequent flyer cards. Of the more you hold, the more you're getting out of it, and all that. And so, what if all of a sudden the box shows up? Because all you did is hold the NFTs and you hold the tokens and you hold the right levels. And that box shows up, and that figurine that you loved so much of that character, all of a sudden it just showed up to you today.
I would lose my mind. I would lose my mind.
and how quick would you be encouraging your family and your friends to jumping in with you, to experiencing these things firsthand with you, and bringing that back to where now it's family engaged and family involved and friend involved, and we don't have to be ashamed of what we're watching anymore.
I think the thing I like the most about what you guys are doing here is the engagement aspect of it. When you go see a movie right now, yeah, you get engaged as you're watching it. You get involved in the movie, but then you leave. You leave the theater. You turn off the television. You turn off your computer. You shut your phone down, and then that's it. And it's over. And I think what I really love about this is that the engagement continues, and it continues onwards in multiple different ways. And that to me is that just appeals to me on so many different levels. I'm like, I don't know if you guys can tell I'm geeking out so hard right now.
But when you think about it, like, how often do we all, when we all had 9-to-5 jobs, those of us in the Hollywood system probably didn't have so many of those at one point in time.
What is that?
Yeah, but for those out there that did have that, etc., that you went to work the next day and everybody gathered around what used to be the water cooler. We're back to the vinyl days right here.
Right.
Because there's still not a water cooler anymore. But people gathered around and they talked about their shared experience. And they could talk about the experience they each had, but they couldn't share in it. And they could each talk about it from their own point of view.
Right.
Now we can solve that and bring it even closer.
Right. And not only that, you can have a say in it too. I feel like.
Because, when you look at, like, there's reality shows out there. That there's a judge's score and then there's the audience score, and we never see what the audience score is.
No.
But we scratch our head when somebody gets the trophy at the end of the season.
Right.
Because wait a minute, none of the fans liked it, but how did they end up there? And we know that there's some dirty tricks going on behind the scenes in producers, because it drives story, it drives what they want, it's driving the narrative thereafter. We've got governance.
Definitely.
We can see it. And we can be involved in it, and we can solve that, and we can feel it. I could think of a couple of crowdfund and Web 2.0 crowdfunds I've been a part of, and it's so funny to me how people will pause the screen. I can think of one. I wasn't a part of it, but I know it intimately well. Had over 36,000 donors into a crowdfund. It was on a major franchise, and it was a documentary. And I knew people personally who were pausing the screen in the credits to catch their name in those credits.
Yeah.
And that was the most they could be involved. They gave some money, they got a t-shirt, they got a hat, whatever. But then the most involvement they got was to pause the screen and catch their name in the credits.
But that's one of the most important human things, is to belong to something, community. Like, in all of the work that I've ever done, whether it be, online or in the metaverse or in film or any of those aspects, the feeling of belonging to something is perhaps one of the most important things in the human experience. And so being a part of something like this is just, I think, just incredible, because you can be a part of it in some way, shape, or form, and then also determine what your entertainment is going to be like, and then own a part of it too, which is just phenomenal. I love this so much, and I'm so glad that you guys are here and that you're a part of this and part of LῙF. This is fantastic.
Well, we could not be happier to be with you guys. Jimmy and I and Brian and Andrew and the entire team behind us and the advisory board and everybody we're working with, and the fantastic work like that Matt's doing on our graphics for us, and Roy is bringing us people, and Nikki of doing some of our voiceover work for us, and all this, and all these people that we keep bringing together. And I could go on for hours and name everybody. We are so excited to be with you guys.
I'm just kind of looking out here at the audience here. I did have another question here from earlier. I don't know if it still applies. The question was, are they still part of the guild? So I don't know if there is, if you require
our
some
actors. We will be using actors from the Screen Actors Guild. We will be complying with a lot of that. We are seeing right now, and I'm not going to go into it in this interview. It's a whole other topic that could fill us hours. There are projects out there that are still going on from the Screen Actors Guild, from the Writers Guild. One of our board members, who is a showrunner for us, he is very high ranking in the Writers Guild. And he was part of a lot of the strike negotiations, and he was a part of all of this. We will be using guild people. Absolutely. We will be complying with all of that. It's the fact that you have right now, there's a major franchise coming out in the next couple of weeks that somehow is gotten a waiver to release during the ongoing Screen Actors Guild strike. And the actors will be participating in that release of that project because it's outside of the AMPTP. And so we will be falling into a lot of that exact same categories.
So for those of you that don't know, a waiver is just granting people permission to work on a project, even though that there is a strike going on.
Yeah, the Screen Actors, the Screen Actors Guild decided when the strike started in July, about 112, 117 days ago. I think I've lost count. It's more than 110.
So it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. That they were going to allow actors in certain limited specific cases to continue to work if it fit in a very narrow scope. And so we have seen very little coming out. And it's just definitely not enough to feed the machine of hunger that exists in distribution for all of us to absorb content. And so we're going to start feeling that. If we're already feeling it, we're going to feel it even worse in the next few months.
Definitely, 100%. My next question is, how can people get involved in this? How can the everyday average Otherverse member get involved in life?
You know, right now we are very aggressively with our VC, our venture capital groups, and our angel groups. Right now, we are absolutely building our databases for our names and people for our retail aspects to be able to buy into the utility token and to be a part of that and enter the community there. We have some NFT offerings that are going to come online before the token comes. Those are coming online here on Otherverse in a few weeks with you and everybody here in this team. And so those will be our first access to the general public on that. Right now, our Twitter and our Instagram, our Discord, that's where the first people are going to know what's going on. Also, the people there in Otherverse. Those are the two best ways to be involved as we get ready to launch and get ready to release those NFT offerings first up, leading into that token offering.
All right. What are your Twitter, your Instagram, your Discords? Let's get those out. Let's get them to the audience because they seem pretty jazzed, pretty excited.
Okay. Let me start. You know, I'm gonna be a really good guy, and I'm gonna pull it up as I'm talking to you right there, so that I don't mess up anything at all.
Oh, good. Now. Take your time.
So let's go over to Instagram first. It is going to be a Legacy Inspired Films, LEG, ACY, INS, PIRED, FILMS. And we have just gone live with that very, very recently. Right. And then our Twitter is Legacy IF. I guess we're calling that.
Like that, Legacy IF.
Yes.
That wrong, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then our Discord, I believe, is Legacy Inspired Films.
Okay.
And I believe I believe we're actually in the gift bags out in the lobby from this theater right here.
Oh,
And
perfect.
I believe our contacts are all right in there.
Perfect.
And so, and I did ask, and you guys are so gracious to be able to keep this video on YouTube for us.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if people want to tag me and get to me on there, we can get right back to you guys. Also, if anything, people have follow up and questions, happy to do that and happy to engage with everybody on that.
Perfect. Is there an email as well?
It's going to be our social life, LIF.
Perfect. Perfect.
At gmail.com is going to be the best one for now. Our legacyinspiredfilms.com website has a sign up for email addresses for the newsletter and for that first release content. We will make some casting announcements over there. We will start announcing the first project over there. I am super excited. I'm only going to tease it right now, Anna, because I haven't even told you about it yet. But,
oh my gosh.
So we are going to, we are releasing some content that we've already got through the Otherverse in the coming months.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of that content is done and it's lived its life, and we're just going to share it with everybody.
I love it.
However, some of that content has got a whole life after we air with you. And it's going to be exclusive to there. And the offerings and what we're going to do with that when we announce that there in the Otherverse, people are going to have their minds blown on what we're about to offer. And this
My mind
is
is already blown.
fun.
My mind is already blown.
I know your community and ours are going to be sharing each other, and we're going to announce that. But with that first, I in the first trunk of projects, we'll probably be able to announce exactly what that's going to be. But it's everything we're talking about and how we're going to do it and how we're going to bring it in. Super exciting for everybody.
So jazzed, Chris. Plixton, completely right. You can grab all their info from their booth in the Silver Hall. Also, yeah, they do have a booth in the virtual hall. They're in the gift bags, as Chris said. So please make your way over there. Casting, Chris. Question. Casting. When you talk about casting, are you only looking for people from the United States? Is this open to everybody? What's the deal with that?
As I said earlier on, I have been so proud. One of the greatest things I've accomplished in my life, outside of being an agent, outside of the other things I've done in my life, is I have sponsored 110 people here into the United States from around the world. Mm-hmm. I am so proud of that accomplishment. Just 2 weeks ago now, I brought someone in from Kenya who's an actor, who is here in the United States for the next 3 years. If we can get people here, there is limitations on how we get people into the United States. We do have to meet certain criteria legally to be able to do that. Some content will be shooting in Canada as well as in the United States. So we do have some options on all of that. But if we can meet those requirements on all of it and people are talented, absolutely. Because the most beautiful thing about all of this is we can actually discover those hidden gems around the world and bring that together. That's one of the reasons we love the script writing aspect of it and what we can bring back from that old studio system. So we love some of these things that we can do. We can bring some actors as long as we can hit the requirements that are out there for each country we work in. Bring it.
All right. So I'm just putting my name in the hat there, Chris. Just saying that. Sliding you my resume, my headshot.
I just got it. It got airdropped over to me just now.
Instantly.
Got it.
Oh my gosh. So my next and probably final question. This has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for, first of all, definitely for me, filling our community with such excitement about everything that's coming down the pipeline. What's the timeline for everything? When can we expect to start seeing things?
We are very much targeting a release at end of first quarter of next year, and start of second quarter. We are absolutely focused right now on being able to hit that. We have a few challenges we have to hit to make that happen. But right now, that is our absolute goal. These challenges have nothing to do with us. They have to do with climates. They have to do with strikes going on. They have to do with the labor issues that are out there right now. We got to get through some of that. But we are absolutely committed right now to that first and second quarter release of next year.
I'm excited. I think everybody in the audience is excited. I know Otherverse is extremely excited, and I know you are too. And I think this is going to be wonderful. I'm excited, like I said before, for the future of this, for Film 3, and for this partnership with LῙF. Thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you, Anna, for having us. Thank you for bringing us into your family. Thank you
course.
guys for sitting through this. God bless all of you. Thank you so very much.
Definitely. Any last words from any of you guys for our audience? Any last things you guys want to say before we sign off?
I just want to thank everybody again. I just can't wait to show you what we're working on over here. We're so excited about it. I just can't, I say that word so much, but there's no other word. I'm a former press secretary, and so I'm not usually at a loss of words, and that's the only word I can come up with is excitement.
Definitely. Everyone else in the audience, clap, clap, clap. Good luck. God bless you too. They're all excited. There's a little bit of delay with the chat versus our talking. The mood in the room. They're excited. Thank you so much, Chris. Thanks, everybody. Definitely, I think we've got one more presentation for the rest of the day. We've got day 2 tomorrow, packed to the brim with more wonderful, exciting presentations. Kendrick, once again, thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, team. Thank you, everybody, for coming out today to this amazing virtual con, and we'll see you later.